Hi there everyone. Welcome to series Spring Security 5. This session is getting started with Spring Security for beginners. So, no prior knowledge of Spring Security or security based practices is required. Security is most important aspect of application. Usually we give attention to it at the end of development cycle, which makes it really difficult to implement correctly. It's very important to get started with security during initial phase and evolve along with the application. Let's understand why Spring Security. Spring Security is a powerful and highly customizable authentication and access control framework. It is the de facto standard for securing Spring-based applications. It's a application layer security framework that is you are not tied to specific web server. It's loosely coupled with application so can easily customize it or replace with another security framework. There are lots of out-of-box features you get from Spring Security. Example authentication in terms of basic and form authentication, OAuth2, OpenID Connect, LDAP and JWT. It also provides out-of-box protection against common security threats such as CSRF, cross-site scripting, HSTS and many more. It also provides first-class integration with Servlet APIs, Spring Data Integration, CORS and many more. Due to widely use of security frameworks such as Spring Security, vulnerabilities such as CSRF and XSS are no longer on OWASP's top 10 list. If you are first time hearing OWASP, then OWASP is an open web application security project, which is a non-profit foundation that works to improve security of a software. You can visit OWASP's top 10 to get current top 10 list of security threats. Let's move to lab to try hands-on. Let's use this sample project for our proof of concept. So idea here is to create a shopping website which has three controllers. First is cart controller which will just give information about our application. Another one is admin controller which is currently just printing hello admin, but here all the admin related tasks will get added, and user controller where we are just currently printing hello user, but user related actions or APIs can be added over here. I will be providing GitHub link for the project in the description. You can use that to download project, or you can just move to Spring Initializer, select here Maven project and Spring Boot version, fill all the required detail, add Spring Web dependency and just click on the generate. So it will give you one zip file. You can just import that in your ID of choice. Now, if I start the Spring Boot application and access each URL, example here localhost, you can see we are getting welcome to your own eCart. If I access admin, then we are getting same admin related string which we are returning, and for user we are getting user related string. Now if I move to network tab and hit refresh, you can see it is returning some basic headers like connection, content type and date. Also these are our request headers. As you might have observed, these all APIs are not secured. That means you don't have to provide any credentials to access it. But our goal is to add security to all these APIs. How we can achieve that? So for that purpose, you need to add Spring Security dependency. So for that purpose, you can again move to Spring Initializer project, add dependency and click here Spring Security. Select that, click explore and just copy this Maven file and paste it on your project. As you can see here, Spring Boot starter security and Spring Security test, both the dependencies got added. And now restart the application. Now, if you try to access our URL, For example, this is the root level URL. Then we just got 302 over here, which is redirection, and we got redirected to our login page. So by default, Spring generates one user for us whose username is user and password will be present on this console. See, you are able to log in now. Now let me clear our cache and you can access other URLs as well like admin. It will again prompt username and password credentials for it. Just adding Spring Security dependency does all the magic. It initializes all the boilerplate code for us. But this state is far from production ready. For production ready applications, we need to have control over how authentication is performed and how users are validated. Let's see how we can gain control over it. But before moving to that, let's see how Spring initializes all the classes. This security auto configuration class is responsible for initializing all Spring security. As you can see over here, this is the conditional dependency on default authentication event publisher. So as soon as we add our Spring Security dependency, this class finds this bean in our class path and it kicks in all initialization. It imports other dependencies as well like Spring Boot Web Security Configuration, Web Security Enabler Configuration, Security Data Configuration. If we navigate further in Spring Boot Web Security Configuration class, we can see it is configuring our authentication. Basically, it is saying authenticate any request with form login or basic login. There is one more class called as user details service auto configuration. This class is responsible for creating users. So again, this class is also conditional. It will check if there is authentication manager provided. If it is not provided, then this class kicks in and creates one default user for us. So default username will be user and password will be get printed on console. In order to get control over this process, let's see how Spring Boot web security configuration gets initialized. So this configuration is depend upon conditional on default web security. If we navigate again, we can see if web security configurer adapter or security filter chain beans are missing, then this class gets kicked in. So in order to get control, we need to create one configuration class which extend this web security configurer adapter. Let's create one new class called as web security config. Extends web security configuration adapter and annotate it with configuration. Now, if you move inside this web security configurer adapter, you can see this is an abstract class and the methods which we are interested in is configure. As you can see over here, there are three variations of configure method. First one is with authentication manager builder, another HTTP security, and last one is web security. Let's override each one of them and let's see how it impacts our configuration. So first we'll try to create one user for our application. So for that we'll use authentication manager builder. Spring Security supports multiple password storage mechanism like LDAP or database. For this demo, we will be using in-memory authentication. At this field, we need to provide encoded password. We'll be using password encoder factories to create our encoder. I have created a separate video where I have discussed this password encoding techniques in great detail. Its link in the description. Now restart our application. If I refresh this page, you can see first we got 302 redirection request to our form login. Here I can use our newly added user with foo as username and admin as password. I am able to do sign in. As we have observed on our default Spring Boot web security configuration, it is allowing form login as well as HTTP basic login. Let's say you want control over this process and you just want to provide HTTP basic login, not form login. How you will do that? So for that purpose, just copy this line, move to our configuration class and override another configurer method, the one with HTTP security, and just paste that. Remove form login from here and restart the application. Now if I access URL, as you can see, it is prompting us to provide credentials in terms of base authentication. Here foo as username and password as admin. If I click OK, then you can see authentication is successful. So now we have secured all of our APIs. Let's see, we have a requirement where user can log in without authentication and browse through the available product list. So how we can manage that? For that purpose, we need to override another configure method with web security. Here we can provide web ignoring MVC matcher. So any URL which matches to this pattern, we do not want to pass through all security checks. Restart the application and clear the cache and try to access user URL. See, we can access without providing credentials. But if we want to access our root URL, it is prompting us to provide credentials. So till now we have covered authentication part, that is how to configure user, choose between form login or basic auth login, how to bypass Spring security. Now let's see how to perform access control or authorization part. For that purpose, let's add one more user to our security. Let's assign role user. I have created one more controller called as place order controller, and all APIs related to placing order will come over here. Currently, it is just having one get mapping which returns your order is placed. And the idea is like for admin controller, this API needs admin entitlement, place order service needs user entitlement. So let's add this authorization part in our code. So after authorize request, we can add here MVC matcher and provide pattern over here, place order, and mention here roles it should have. So it should have user role and another service admin should have admin role. Now let's restart the application. Let's enter first user who has admin entitlement. You can see we are able to access our root level URL. We are also able to access our admin URL, also user URL. But when we try to access place order URL, it is giving us forbidden error because we are just authorizing that URL to user has role user. Now let's try login with another user having user role. So let's log in with another user who has user role. You can see I am able to log in. I can even also access another URL called as user. Also the newly added controller place order. But as soon as I try to access admin URL, I get forbidden error 403 because this URL is only configured for admin role. Spring Security also supports logout feature out of the box, but for that purpose you need to use form login as a method because HTTP basic login is not designed to perform logout. So in order to demonstrate logout feature, I will add here form login and restart the server. Now if you try to access the URL, it will give you the form page, and along with that it also provides one additional page with logout URL. So now if you hit this page and click on logout, you can see there is one by default logout URL is getting populated. So if I click on logout, it redirected back me to the login page. So again, if I refresh my previously accessed URL, I no longer have access to that root level URL and I need to enter credentials again. Spring Security also lets us customize login behavior. For example, adding success handler. So let me use one lambda expression over here. It takes argument request, response, and authentication as third variable. So for time being, I will just print on the console that login is successful. So currently I am just printing out login successful statement over here, but you can utilize this feature to send message something like Gmail does. So example, user does login from new hardware or new location, you can trigger email to him saying okay, you have logged in from this location, and provide him option to log out from that location or block the access. It also allows us to customize logout feature. So let's say what he can do after doing logout. Example, delete cookies. You can also invalidate HTTP session. So if you make it true, it will invalidate. If you make it false, then it will not invalidate HTTP session. Also, you can add logout success handler. So it also takes parameter like login success handler. And let me make here logout success. And let me restart the application. Now if I do login, you can see here login successful. And if I perform logout operation, it prints out logout successful. Along with login and logout, Spring Security lets us configure HTTP firewall as well. If you access OWASP website for HTTP response splitting, what's happening? Your browser sending request to your server, and in order to fulfill that request, you are calling some another service, which is third party service. And after getting a response back, you are directly accessing the values and setting up in the cookies and sending back to your browser. So example here, you got from request author parameter, setting into cookies and sending back. So in case of proper scenario, this might get properly set as Jane Smith. But what if malicious users add some slash r and slash n and some invalid content after that? So what it does is it replaces your response, because this slash n and slash r are considered as new line. So you can see this Willy hacker string got set to author, and as slash r and slash n are present over here, it got assigned as new content over here. So in order to avoid this type of mishaps, we can use HTTP firewall. You can create a bin of HTTP firewall called as strict HTTP firewall. You can configure rules for your HTTP headers and all kind of sanitization over here. So example, here you can say allowed header names, and here you can use any regex pattern to check whether it is satisfying that requirement or not. So you will get header name as parameter, and here you can return let's say I'm just returning true over here. Similarly, you can also sanitize header response, set allowed header values. So you will get predicate as header value, and you can return, let's say, in our case, slash r, and you can sanitize the responses, annotate it as a bean, and you are good to go. That's all for this tutorial. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to get notification about upcoming videos. Thank you.